Welcome. You're listening to Sports Econ 101, the show where we discuss sports topics from a business perspective. I'm your host, Edward Brown, along with my co-hosts, Russell Jackman and Mike McDowd. At each commercial break, we are going to ask a trivia question. And in the next segment, who's our guest, Mike?
Well, first of all, when we talk about guests, we got the Midnight Summer Dream going on in Atlanta, All-Star. We want to talk about that. But yeah, really a guy coming on board, and I'm going to save it till he actually is on the air. But I got some nice things to say about him. He'll get it when I say it. His name is Brent Martineau. He's the sports director for Action Sports Jacks in Jacksonville. And, there's a lot of sportscasters around the country. You and I have seen them all.
Yeah.
A lot of them are really crappy. They're terrible. This guy is really, really good. Now, I'm not kidding you. I don't have to say that. I like Brent, and he's good. He's one of the best around the business, and he's a super nice guy for coming on the show, and that's my tease, and I'll leave it at that.
All right. And when we come back, I also have some fun. I've got 3 fun old baseball, not jokes, but comments by old-time players. In fact, here, I'll give you one of them. So Harmon Killebrew said that he once asked Hank Greenberg if he had any superstitions, and Hank said yes, he had one. He liked to touch all 4 bases when he hit a home run. That's kind of fun.
Like it.
Yeah, and we're going to talk also about you said, Mike, that they came out with a lineup of the best American League and National League.
Well, first of all, yeah, I've got the all-time NL list, the all-time AL list. I know Brent can talk about this. I've got the lineups for tonight for the big show in Atlanta. The home run contest was pretty epic last night. I mean, come on, good stuff.
All right, finally, getting back into a good swing of baseball. Okay, audience, stay with us. You're listening to Sports Econ 101. Don't touch that dial. We are going to be right back. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Russell Jackman, Mike McDowd, and our special guest. Mike, please reintroduce our guest.
Yeah, happy to bring him aboard. He's got a big smile. First of all, he's a good human being. Got to know him the last few years, and I consider him a friend. His name's Brent Martineau. He is the sports director of Action Sports Jacks, aka the news department's Action News Jacks. But he's really Brent. I told you, I don't know if you heard this, but I really mean this. You're one of the better sportscasters. You're the best in our business. And that's one of the reasons I wanted you on, because not only are you a great sportscaster, and there's a lot around America, and I've traveled to different cities and towns, and I've seen them all. But Brent is really, really good, guys. And not only is he really, really good, he's a really nice guy. I'll tell you why. Listen to this, and listen to this, America. Listen to this international global audience. Brent is on vacation right now in New York. He doesn't have to do this show. I don't know if he necessarily wants to be on the show, but he's nice enough to come on. His wife is, I don't know, in the house somewhere, allowing him to do this show. Brent, you're a good man. Thank you so much, and so nice to have you aboard.
Well, thank you, Brent, and thank your wife for us, too.
Yeah, well, good. Well, if she comes out yelling at me, you might not be thanking her, and I might not either. But thanks for having me on. And Mike, you checked all the boxes. So the reason I'm coming on is you just said all those nice things. So here we are. We've both fulfilled our obligations now for the rest of this.
Exactly. That's good. Go ahead, Mike.
So, Brent, you've been in this business a long time. We want to talk a little about. First of all, there's a lot of sports topics going on. We'll talk about that. But you are on the game of sports from the reporting, anchoring side. It's really, most people don't understand this, but it's not an easy task. It's not an easy job. So much goes into it behind the scenes, especially in today's world, where you're lucky if you have your own camera guy. Often you're setting up your lighting. It's much more difficult than it is today's world than it was when you and I first started in the business. Is that not a fact?
There's no doubt. I mean, just because of technology and also because of the way the media business has gone, we're not the newspaper business, right? Where it's been on its way out for a while and nobody gets it. People still turn us on, which is a good thing. But it certainly has evolved. And what we're doing right now is a part of that, how we can do this and how we can execute things. Ironically, I'm up in Albany, New York, and I just had some dinner with my old boss when I was up here for 5 years. I was back in 2003 through 2008. So more than 20 years ago, and we were talking a little bit about just that, how much things have changed, and but there are some good things with how things have changed. We used to take satellite trucks to live shots, and now we take this little backpack thing that we can
Yeah.
stuff anywhere, and we can go live. I can do this from the driveway in New York, or I could go live from a boat, and I don't need a truck and 14 people to help me do it like back in the day, which today wasn't that long ago because I don't feel that old, but it's certainly evolved very quick in our business. And I think that's the big thing, Mike, and everybody else on here is, I mean, you've got to evolve with it. And if you don't evolve, you're probably looking at doing something else.
Well, one of the first co-hosts I had when I started the show back in 2013, Vern Glenn from Channel 5, CBS in San Francisco, and he told me the same thing. It's like it changed so much. He used to have a whole camera crew and everything, and then the station says, "Yeah, we're going to cut down on the costs. You're going to have to do it all." So it's you probably have kind of experienced that yourself, haven't you?
Well, yeah, and I think, and you guys talk about San Francisco and the big markets, and I've worked in Albany and Providence, started in Alexandria, Louisiana, real small market, and Jacksonville. So I've never worked in like a top 20 market where I think you'd really feel the impact of the difference of what it used to be like versus what it is like now. So we've kind of always had a little bit that the medium market or the smaller market, if you will, where you don't really have a bunch of people helping a sports team out anyway. So you're used to kind of using your resources to the best of your ability and kind of scratching and clawing a little bit to begin with. So I think the other part of that is for me, I got started in 1999. If I had got started in 1989, I think we would have been talking about the glory days of local TV and the newscast, and
Sure.
you would have been so familiar with that way of life, the money that was being spent, the money that people were making, maybe. I got kind of in that transition time when I started out. And so I've kind of lived through the transition part. Somebody who's been in the business for 30, 35, 40 years, as opposed to 25 years, certainly really feels it a totally different way than probably even I do. So I guess I'm blessed to not know, I guess, how good it was at one time, even though I know it was pretty good at one time. And hey, you know what? We still have it good in a lot of ways, at least in our place in Jacksonville. They allow us to have autonomy. We're innovative. And again, as you move with the times and you can find ways to create revenue for the station, then I think they're going to have your back in doing some things, even if it is sports. And a lot of people kind of in our business say, oh, it's just sports. At our place, we're pretty fortunate they don't say that.
Yeah, and Brent, I think it's important that we mention that. It's a good segue because I know you personally. You work hard as anybody's I've known. The hours are ungodly, and yet you are very innovative in the way you approach things. And I think, particularly at your station, Action, Sports Jacks, CBS 47, and Fox. I think that you guys are a model for the rest of America. I really love to, because we're a sports business show too. And one of the things that you're doing that's very unique is you're really, like for example, San Francisco, Los Angeles, they have NBC Sports, Bay Area, NBC Sports Chicago, but you guys are super centric as far as local programming is concerned, the local high school football games. I've done lacrosse, games on your network. And I mean, it's very hyper local focused, and you are seeing something, you're really creating something, in my opinion, it's almost a model for the rest of the country.
Yeah, it's a good thought. I don't know. I don't want to take that kind of credit for, and it's not just me anyway, it would be our whole operation. But I do think some semblance of what we're doing could be used to kind of keep sports alive in local TV in some markets. Now, the question is, and is a very good debate, can it work in an LA? Can it work in a San Fran? Can it work in Atlanta? Or is it just better to work in a market like we are in Jacksonville? We're also fortunate to have CBS and Fox. What does that do? Well, we've got a lot of NFL. We've got a lot of sports to cover that helps pay the bills outside of even our local content that we're producing. So I really give a lot of credit to our GM back in, I think it was like 2012-ish, 2000. I had asked, guys, you'll appreciate this. I asked for, when I first got there in '08, we did 1 minute of sports. 1 minute of sports in the
Wow.
6, 1 minute of sports in the 10, 1 minute of sports in the 11. It was easy. I was like, I had come from a pretty good operation in Albany, New York. I was like, I didn't know what to do with myself. I mean, I was hardly doing anything. I was going to a game and then just shooting one highlight for a 1 minute and then just watching the rest of the game. And I'd be on the beach, the rest of the Saturday. It was really weird to me. But sooner or later, we got to the point where we got people in place. And I'd asked for a Sunday night show. Everybody around the country is doing Sunday night shows, half-hour shows, whatever. And I said, I think we should do one. And I'll never forget, I was at Jags training camp, and this would have been just about coming up, like in late July, early August. And he calls me in between practices, and he's like, "Hey, we got the Sunday night show, and by the way, you also got a Saturday half-hour show too." And I was like, "Oh boy, I didn't ask for that." Now, like we didn't ask for that.
Well, too much.
Well,
I tell you
fast
what, hey,
forward.
Brent, hold on to your story. We got to cut to a break.
Okay,
But we have these hard breaks, you know how it is.
yeah, no
Okay,
problem.
here's our first trivia question, and just a reminder to our guest, Brent, if you know the answer to this, don't say anything quite yet. Wait till we come right back from break. What planet in the solar system spins the slowest at its axis? Figured we'd give you a little science question here. Email Edward at sportsecon101.com the answer to that question. And this is kind of a weird question. I'll tell you why. It takes 243 Earth days to complete one rotation, which is actually longer than its orbital period around the sun, meaning that the day is longer than its year.
Okay. All
That
right.
one, riddle me that one, Batman. All right, that's our trivia question. What planet in the solar system spins the slowest at its axis? Stay with us. Sports Econ 101. I'll be right back. Don't touch that dial. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. One more time. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Russell Jackman, Mike McDowd, and our special guest, Brent Martineau. Trivia question number 1. What planet in the solar system spins the slowest at its axis?
I'm going to say Jupiter.
Jupiter? No. One
Brent?
down, 8 to go. I still consider Pluto a planet, so 1 down and 8 to go. Anyone?
I'm going
You
to
want
tie
that,
this
Brett?
to. So I can make a guess here. I'm just a dumb sports guy, fellas, but I'm going to tie this to sports, and I'm going to say Venus, as in Venus
Yes.
Williams.
Oh,
Venus. Yes, that
You
is
nailed it.
correct. Venus.
Wow.
Very good.
Maybe I should. Hey, maybe I should have been a weather guy. I stayed out of the
Yeah.
weather business because I wasn't good at science, but maybe I was better than I thought.
All right.
Hey,
Very
hey, Brian,
good.
you'll love this. I got to tell this to the audience. But when I worked out in my first job, I got lucky on a morning show in this Bay Area, and I started out as the morning weather dude. I had no idea what I was doing, zero. So I copied every other weather guy in the market, including the Weather Channel. I stole everything, and I was like, I became the fun guy. Like, come on, the Bay Area. Well, it's sunny. What do you want, people? We might have a little fog. It's going to rain in the wintertime. I mean, Anyways, but yes,
That's a good way
being
to
a
do it.
weathercaster is an easier job than being a sports guy. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
it seems like there's like the market for weather people is insane. To tell you the truth, I don't know. Is it me?
Well, it's still the reason why people tune into the news most of the time. I mean, we know that, we get that, we understand it, but hey, it hasn't stopped at our place. I'll finish my thought real quick on that, just because it's a real quick ending to the sentence. I told you we started with a minute in Jacksonville, and basically now I think the last time I did it, we're over 160 hours of local programming a year on our CBS and Fox. And then we just unveiled a 24-hour sports streaming network. So I don't, when Mike said, like, I think people can copy this or duplicate it, I don't know if everybody can. I think you got to have the support You got to have the people to do it too. And it's not just me. I mean, we've got a good group that's been together a while, and you got to want to hustle. You got to still be passionate about it. And and then at the same time, you've got to have people pushing the ball down the road too. And we've been fortunate enough to have that GM I was talking about and other folks believe in what we're doing. And usually they believe in it, guys, because they're making some money. So there is an ability to make money. But I just wonder sometimes, like in San Francisco, where you guys are familiar with, would what we're doing exactly work? Maybe not. But in Providence, Rhode Island, I think it could. Or in, Birmingham, Alabama, I think it could. And I think other people could definitely piggyback on some of the things we're doing and make some of the dollars, especially with the NFL. Because, guys, let's be honest. I mean, you talk about the business side of it. I mean, I'm in business still, I think, because of the NFL. And that's what really is ironic to me, because consultants and TV consultants, everybody else said, nah, sports doesn't matter. Sports doesn't matter. Sports doesn't matter. They said it for 20 years. People lost their sports department in places like Atlanta and Detroit and Orlando. Recently, they just lost one in Houston, I think. Well,
Hmm.
I mean, the reason why network television still exists is probably right now because of the NFL. The NFL is keeping it, making the money that it makes, in my opinion. It's the top 99 out of 100 shows every fall is the NFL. And that's where the dollars are. If you have a Super Bowl, if you're a TV station and a network, you have a big year. If you don't have as good a year. And obviously, politics plays a big role in other things too. So I'm not dismissing that, but sports is a massive, massive player in our industry now. And I just don't think anybody could have predicted the NFL being where it's at. And also culturally, everybody being as locked in as they are, from fantasy football to betting to, hey, honey, I'll get everything done on Saturday because I got Sunday to watch all day.
Very
Right.
good. Hey, guys, want to
No.
move over to a little baseball since the All-Star game is going on in just a little bit here. We're recording on Tuesday. We don't know who's going to win yet because obviously we're just starting. But just a fun little. I have a couple of quick little fun quotes from 100 years ago. So the quote comes from Johnny Evers. Remember Evers Tinkers to Evers to Chance? He said, "He made me want to throw my bat away every time I went to the plate." And he was talking about Grover Cleveland Alexander, because he only hit 297 in 102 plate appearances. And then, do you guys remember Nap LaJoy? In fact, that the Cleveland Naps. That's how they named it after him. Nap LaJoy was one of the most rugged hitters I ever faced. He'd take your leg off with a line drive, turn the third baseman around like a swinging door, and powder the hand of the left fielder. Cy Young said that. That was kind of cool. These old time quotes. Of course, back then the glove wasn't the same, right? They
Yeah,
really had
that's right.
fingers. I thought that was kind of fun.
I mean, and
Go ahead.
no, I mean, the thing about, the All-Star game, and I know one thing about Brian, he's a big baseball guy. And in a town like Jacksonville, this is a football-centric city. Jags, of course, college football. But baseball, Brent knows this game really well. And interesting enough, the first All-Star game, 1933, Kaminsky Park in Chicago. It was actually part of the World's Fair in Chicago. And check this out, guys. In that first game, 16 future Hall of Famers appeared in that game. That's just legendary.
And
Go
Carl
ahead.
Hubble struck out 3 of them in a row, right?
I wasn't
Remember
there.
that?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty
it's
good
funny,
knowledge right there. That's good knowledge. Hey,
years ago, I mean, I still remember. I'm older than you guys. I remember Pete Rose running into Ray Fosse and taking his shoulder out, and he was never the same after that. And you think about the game, what it was like back then. I mean, they took that All-Star game really seriously.
And now it's basically an adult version of T-ball. You're getting close.
Well, it's the same thing with the NBA, right? We talked about that.
They've already turned football to flag football, so
well, in fairness, now baseball's the best one still. At least it's still got some integrity to it. And
I
and
agree.
I will say this: they've had one innovation, guys, in the All-Star game specifically, where I think it's really unlocked something, and they've tried to do it more now on Sunday Night Baseball, and I think they should do more of it as we continue to go, and that is miking up the players. They started that a handful of years
Yeah.
ago, miking up the shortstop, whoever it was, and I really thought that was cool, like, because those guys talk the game and think the game at a different level. Like, I am a big baseball guy, but I don't know what those guys know. And you could
Well, you
to hear
know,
Francisco Lindor talk about how he would attack a baseball at shortstop or things like that, I think it really opened the door to guys' knowledge of the game, but also personalities. And baseball does such a bad job of that compared to the NBA and the
yeah.
NFL. They
Well,
don't promote their stars very well. So I do think the All-Star game is still better than the rest. And
yeah.
I'll tell you what else, the home run derby is usually really good if you're there in person. It's not as great on TV, but I went to the home run derby in Cincinnati 10 years ago now, and I poo-pooed the home run derby. I was like, yeah, whatever, but we went. I took my kid, and it was right. I would say it's the best sporting event I've ever been to as a fan. And I've been to a lot to cover as a journalist, but as a fan, I think it's the best sporting event I've ever been to. It was electric in Cincinnati that year at the Home Run Derby. Gave me new appreciation for it. Of course, Todd Frazier won. He was a Cincinnati Red that year, so the
Yeah.
place was just bonkers. But it was
Sure.
pretty cool. So I think they do a decent job with MLB All-Star Game. Again, comparable to the other ones who that just aren't any good anymore.
No, it's funny. I thought that I thought they were going to that the managers were going to stop allowing the players to be mic'd up. When I don't remember which player it was, but he basically he
He
was
did.
wasn't thinking because he was on the right. Do you remember that one? I don't remember
Yeah.
who the player was, but he basically
Yeah, that
had
was
an error
recently.
because he wasn't
Yeah.
paying attention. And you'll get a kick out of this, Brent. When I was 14, I had a lot of baseball cards, looking at old baseball books and stuff like that. My mom's great uncle came to visit us, and when he found out I liked baseball, he told me that he used to watch Honus Wagner play. Pretty
Wow.
cool. 'Cause, yeah, I grew up in
That's
Pittsburgh. We used to go and sneak in, and
That's
thought that
wild. That's
was
wild.
pretty.
Baseball history is amazing. I always say this, guys, and I don't know how you feel about it, but if I do think we're living in an unbelievable era for sports, right? I mean, think about the guys that we've seen in the last 20, 25 decades, or women. The athlete that we've seen is just incredible. But
Yeah.
I've long said this that I wish I could have lived in the 40s, 50s, and 60s to watch baseball, really, and live that era of DiMaggio and Williams and really see Gibson
Yeah.
pitch. That was such, and baseball was on fire, right? Everybody loved
Yeah.
baseball the way people
Yeah.
now love football. So I
Yeah.
really wish I could have lived during
Well,
that era.
so I did. I didn't grow up in the 50s, but I did grow up in the 60s. So I mean, I loved. I mean, Willie Mays is still my favorite, and I think he's still the greatest player who ever lived. But I got to watch Bob Gibson and
Mm.
and Willie and Rod Carew and Harmon Killebrew and Frank Howard, if you remember him. Just all these greats. So that was definitely a treat for me for sure. Okay, you guys ready for our next commercial break here? This is kind of a strange one. Which U.S. state has the original London Bridge? Somehow, a U.S.
I got this one. I got this one.
Oh,
He raised his hand like, what kind of
confident.
I've
question?
seen it. I've
I got
actually
this one.
seen it. I've
Okay, so
actually
hold
seen it, so.
on. Last time I asked about planets. You only had a choice of between 8 or 9 planets, depending upon whether you want Pluto. This one,
you know
you got 50 states to choose from. So it's a little bit harder, all right? So here's the trivia question. Which U.S. state has the original London Bridge? I have no idea why they have it, but somehow they have the original London Bridge. All right? Stay with us. Sports Econ 101. Okay, when the next question is about the human body, and that one you might get. All right, stay with us. Sports Econ 101 will be right back.
I think I got this.
Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. I'm Edward Brown, along with Russell Jackman, Mike McDowd, and our special guest, Brent Martineau. All right, guys, second trivia question. Which U.S. state has the original London Bridge? Mike?
And what about Russell?
It's Arizona.
Arizona. That is correct.
Did you have to say that, Russell? I knew it was
Wow.
Arizona.
Well,
Stole my thunder, dude.
I'll let you have the dramatic pause to answer. I actually had to come off of mute, so you had lots of time to say it.
Oh, baloney! I knew it was Arizona. It's
The
like
guy moved it brick by brick.
it's in hold on. What town is it in? It's in Is
It's not law.
it crosses the river, so I know that. And I'm
I
trying to
know,
think
There's
what
a river in
Arizona is.
Arizona?
Winslow, Arizona. It's fine to see, you know.
The guy
Yeah.
moved it,
No, it was
literally
bizarre.
moved it. He literally
They-
moved it brick by brick. He had it moved
Wow.
brick by brick from London to Arizona to
Yes.
some resort, like Lake Resort or something like that.
Ah,
It's
okay.
out there.
Wow.
Yeah,
Did not know
yes. Yeah. No, it's
Okay.
good stuff,
Well,
man.
Russell, actually,
Nothing
Russell
like
is,
going to Arizona and seeing the London Bridge. Let me tell you.
yeah.
Actually, go to the
All right,
Grand
Mike.
Canyon instead.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys want to go over the American League and American League National League all-time dream team? Let's start with the AL. Here we go. Ready for this?
Lake
Yep.
Havasu.
The manager-
It's on Lake Havasu. That one,
Lake Havasu.
Lake
Okay, yeah.
Havasu. Correct.
Okay. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
So the skipper is Connie Mack. Behind the dish, catcher Yogi Berra. First
Yeah.
base, Lou Gehrig. Second base, Rod Carew. Shortstop, Derek Jeter. Third base, A-Rod. Left field, the Bambino, Babe Ruth. Center field, Mickey Mantle and Ted Williams in right. I'd say that's pretty good. Mariano Rivera.
Yeah, wait a minute. I think Brooks Robinson was better than A-Rod. I mean, no offense to A-Rod, and not forget the whatever, the steroids and stuff. But I mean, A-Rod was good. He was more of a hitter. So are you thinking fielding? Or are you thinking all around?
That's what they have. I mean,
Cy
Cy Young is the all-time pitcher, the right-hander. Mariano Rivera, the lefty. But you guys agree, disagree? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, Yogi Berra, it's really hard to argue with
Yogi
him.
Berra?
No Johnny Bench,
It's
huh?
hard to argue against him because there was a statistic that he had like 76 throwouts in a row. Like for 76 times, nobody stole second base. And then all World Series.
Nobody steals second base anymore anyway. Nobody steals bases any longer. So.
Yeah, but in the 50s?
No,
In
but
the 40s?
if you're playing today, no, that wouldn't happen. I personally, wearing my Giants shirt, would throw Buster Posey in there behind the plate because he's.
Figured Willie Mays instead.
Yeah, Willie Mays is going to be.
I've got the National League all-time dream team. So you guys ready for that?
That's right. That's right. Yeah. You're talking AL.
Okay, we're not done yet. We're not. But Buster Posey is not the greatest third baseman. Here's the skipper.
Catcher. I want to catch.
Here's the skipper, which I wonder. I really want to get your thoughts on this one. They have Tony La Russa as the all-time dream team skipper. That's really interesting. He's great.
Because he had both the A's and the Cardinals.
No, Tommy Lasorda. Okay, behind the dish, you got it. It's Johnny Bench.
Johnny Bench. Okay.
First base, Stan Musial. Second base, Joe Morgan. Shortstop, Honus Wagner, your guy. Third baseman is going to be Mike Schmidt. Left field, the home run king. Well, Henry Aaron. Center fielder, Willie Mays. Right fielder, Barry Bonds. The pitcher is Randy Johnson. And that's the southpaw. The right-handed pitcher is Trevor Hoffman. What do you think, guys?
Forget Trevor Hoffman. No. Forget Trevor Hoffman. I don't go with that.
Right?
What about the big train? Walter Johnson or Christy Mathewson?
Oh, Bob Gibson.
No, but Randy Johnson, though. I can't
Gibson,
argue.
Bob Gibson, that's a weird one.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bob Gibson. I think I forgot we were doing AL/NL too at first when I mentioned Johnny Bench. So I'm glad he was on your list for the NL. The outfield's fantastic, I think, for the NL. I do think A-Rod's debatable in the AL. But yeah, I mean, listen, you could debate this for days, right? I think, especially on the pitching front. I think you could really throw a lot of names in.
Let me ask you on the outfield for just a minute. I don't remember Hank Aaron being a fantastic fielder. I mean, he was always known for his hitting, but I don't remember him being a fielder. But in right field, I'll go with Roberto Clemente. No offense to Barry Bonds either, but I mean, Barry Bonds didn't have that great an arm.
Yeah,
Clemente,
but Bonds is like a 5 or 6 time MVP. Like, as good as Clemente was, you're going for defense, especially with Hank Aaron's offense is too good. You give up some defense. His offense, 3,000 hits, the home
Fair
run
enough.
king, and Bonds is a lot of the same resume, even
Yeah.
without the roids.
Well, let's hear it for Balco.
What about that? You forgot not designated. Well, I guess designated hitter. You got to throw like Ricky Henderson in there, maybe.
Edgar Martinez, the original.
Rusty Staub.
There's some
Let's
great
go.
baseball players, aren't they? Hey, by the way, guys, where do you have Shohei on that list? Is he already there? I mean, he's unbelievable. He's Babe Ruth 100 years later.
Yeah, Aaron Judge. You said it was hard. You cut in and out. Did you say Aaron Judge?
No, I was saying Shohei Ohtani.
Oh, Shohei Ohtani. Oh, yeah. That's hard to argue with him. I know he's still fairly young in his career, but boy, he's got Hall of Fame written all over him for both offense and defense, pitching. That's a pretty fantastic one.
Otani is a freak of nature. I don't know if we're ever going to see anybody like him again. We said that maybe about Babe Ruth, right? So I think he's like up in that echelon where the things that he can do with his bat are phenom. And then of course the guy is a heck of a pitcher. He's got great control. I saw him pitch recently. I was just kind of mesmerized by what he can do and how he does it so well. So, I mean, he's on pace for 150 runs. Only Ted Williams and Jeff Bagwell did that, I think, since like World War II. So, I mean, this guy is, I don't know. He's one of those generational players. I never thought I'd see a guy like this.
No, you didn't say RBIs. You said run, right?
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Because when you go RBIs, you're going to go back to Hack Wilson in the 30s.
Yeah.
190.
Was that like 190 or something, wasn't it? Right?
196. I think it's 196. Yeah. Something
That's
ridiculous.
crazy. That's wiffle ball.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Hey, speaking of baseball, I'm going to throw this out here because Brent can comment on this. And, we're on track to have a World Series possibly at a 10,000 seat stadium in Tampa. I mean, can you guys imagine this? And I would be,
How much are tickets
opinion,
going to
it'd
be?
be kind of cool. I don't know. Any thoughts?
Ticket prices will be very expensive.
I think they just bet on the fact that the Rays just stumbled into the break and probably won't be there.
Probably.
I mean, look what happened with the 49ers back in 84 when they ended up playing in Santa Clara. They didn't know the 49ers are going to make. Of course, they were good back then because they beat Cincinnati, 2 years earlier. But they got that home field advantage, so to speak.
By the way, the business side of things, the Rays just got bought by a Jacksonville group. In fact, for the 1.7 billion, led by a Jacksonville guy, and also Ken Babby, the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp. You can see my hat on today. He's a part of that group as well. And then a bunch of people in Tampa, which means they're going to keep that team in Tampa, which is good. I think they should, and hopefully build a nice stadium. But now it looks like it's in good hands for Major League Baseball. Really wanted that to happen.
They never. The interesting thing is, I'm wondering why it's really worth that much. Just because they never seem to draw enough fans. But I know the seats are only like one part of the revenue. There's TV revenues and all that kind of. I guess that's what it is, right? It's just if they end up playing the Yankees, for games, then they share in the revenue and all that kind of stuff. Because they just always seem to be
But this is like buying in my opinion, this has a little bit of a short sale foreclosure type of deal in the housing market because they don't have a home. So they don't know what they're doing with their stadium. So I think they got a little bit of a deal on it. I'm about to get hit by sprinklers, by the way. So I think they got a little bit of a deal based on that whole situation because the next person that comes in has to deal with that.
Nice job with the sprinkler can. That was outstanding.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful night up there. It's not 100 in
here on
Jacksonville.
Sports That's a first here on Sports Econ 101.
We can give you a little background, guys. A little background there.
Oh,
There we
beautiful.
go.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Hey, at least you're not in freaking Albany, Georgia. I'll never forget about that place. I've been there. I did a game in Albany State. They have a blue turf.
You know what? I own a
Oh,
house in Albany, Georgia. I
You
just
do?
foreclosed on it. Yeah. Yeah, seriously, because I'm all
Are you serious?
Albany, not Albany, New York, but Albany, Georgia. Yeah. Seriously.
Really?
Yeah, because I mean,
Have you-
who's ever heard of Albany, Georgia? And I go, I have. Just haven't foreclosed on it. What can I say? It's not a nice place.
I mean, there's a not Albany State University. It's an HBCU school. It's interesting,
Okay.
I suppose, but it's not a place you probably want to live.
Okay.
Not myself personally, but it's definitely. Hey, I got to transition, and it'd be interesting to hear you guys. But one of the greatest high schools in the history of America that to produce the most insane talent ever. Are you ready for this? They produced Barry Bonds. They produced Tom Brady. They produced Lynn Stallworth. They also produced, so that's Sarah High School in the San Francisco Bay Area. Now, why am I bringing this up? They also produced a baseball player by the name of Danny Serafini, 1974, played several years in the NFL, in Major League Baseball. Not a bad player. Well, he was just found guilty of killing his father-in-law and mother-in-law, and he's going to spend the rest of his life in prison. So another fine citizen from the Bay Area. Him and OJ have a lot in common, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. Okay, you guys ready for our third trivia question here?
You don't want me to go into a diatribe about Florida Man, do you?
No, no diatribe about Florida. Okay, here's our third trivia question: which is the largest joint in the human body? The largest joint in the human body.
Outside
right.
of Cheech and Chong, right?
And then, yeah, I was gonna say this is not a cannabis question. All right. Email input at sportsecon101.com. The answer to this question: which is the largest joint? Now we know the largest organ is the skin. We know that, right? What's the largest joint? All right. Stay with us. You're listening to Sports Econ 101. Don't touch that dial. We're going to be right back with some closing comments and our thoughts for the day. Stay with us. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Last time for today, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Mike McDowd, Russell Jackman, and our special guest, Brent Martineau. Third trivia question: which is the largest joint in the human body? What do you think?
Hip?
Hip? No.
Go ahead, Mike. You need to get one. I got one. Russell has one. You said you had
Wait a
another
minute,
one. Let's
I
go,
had
Mike.
one. Russell stole it.
I know it. You had it. I knew you were confident.
Yeah, I don't know, your leg, your feet, your leg.
Like, I think it's your femur or something like
Femur?
that, isn't it?
Femur.
It's the knee. Okay, we'll give you credit for that.
Knee?
It's the knee. The knee joint is actually the largest joint in the human
Yeah.
body.
All right.
You're pretty good.
I mean-
Okay,
I
you
guess
ready for
femur
our-
is like a bone, right?
Yeah, femur's bone. Yeah. Okay, you guys ready for our? So here's we have a silly. Oh, you know what? I actually have a silly joke of the week and thoughts of the day. Here's a silly joke of the week. So I went to the doctor yesterday, and he said I was a beast, and my wife said, "No, you misunderstood him. He said you were obese." Thanks. And
That's good.
I'm gonna quit my job and travel the world until I'm broke. And I'll be back by 9 p.m. tonight. Okay, are you ready? Here's our thoughts for the day. So I'll never forget my grandfather's last words. Stop shaking the ladder, Edward. Thought that was kind of cute. And well, wait a minute. I already said. What am I doing here? I got two jokes. Okay, Brent, go ahead and give out your information. People want to hear you on sports.
Well, we appreciate it, guys. It's fun talking to you about sports and some of the business side of things. You can check us out each and every morning, 10 a.m. until 1 p.m. on the Brent and Austin Show and our 24-hour streaming network at actionsportshacks.com. That's probably the easiest way to find everything. Social media as well. Brent AS Jacks on social media, on Twitter, or just look up Action Sports Jacks. But a lot of content out there. If you like football, we've got a ton of it coming with obviously a heavy focus on the Jacksonville Jaguars. But I do the show with a former NFL player and a current UFC fighter. So we do get into some unique topics from time to time.
We'll definitely have to have you back on. All right, audience, tune in next week to Sports Econ 101. We're going to be discussing sports topics from a business perspective and asking more trivia questions and letting Mike go on with what he wants to talk about next week. Thanks for
Go
listening.
National League.
On behalf of our team, I know I always root for the National League. I'm your host, Edward Brown. We'll see you next week.
Adios.